my children milk because I want them to grow flesh is a phrase that, outside of this ad, I had never heard before. Outside of the creepy old woman that lives on the hill. She dresses like she's a time traveler from 1876, and the 12 orphans she adopted are always resodding her lawn. I don't know what's up with that. My neighborhood is weird. But this is an ad from the 1921 Baldwinian Yearbook, advertising the Birmingham Dairy. The copy in this ad from the 1921 issue of the Baldwinian, advertising Birmingham Dairy and dairy products, seems funny to us now. Everything from claiming that milk drinkers are seldom ill, to claiming that only milk, butter, cheese, and egg yolks contain vitamins. It seems hilarious to us today, because now we know that vitamins are found in a lot of different foods that we eat, or you can pop a multivitamin if you ever need to. And also, we know that you can be healthy even without consuming eggs or dairy products. But would someone from 1921 have found it as funny as we do today? So I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole on the history of vitamins. An early experiment in 1816 laid the groundwork for the field of modern nutrition. Scientists back then were looking for a cheap and fairly easy to find and source food product for the poor in their communities. And an early experiment focused on gelatin made from boiling bones off of cuts of meat. So it was thought that the rich could eat the cuts of meat, and then the bones could be ground or boiled down into gelatin and feed the poor. Early official experiments focused on dogs, and it was found out that dogs really didn't do well on a diet of just pure gelatin. So this idea that all you needed in your diet was protein was pretty quickly pushed out, and the search continued for the secret of what made a complete and balanced diet. By the late 19th century, the prevailing paradigm held that there were 4 elements essential to the diet: carbohydrates, fats, minerals, and protein. But researchers noticed that even folks whose diet was rich in these 4 elements could still get diseases like scurvy and rickets. So what gives? Was there an essential element that was missing from the diet? Early animal studies pointed in the direction of things like milk and eggs. Animals that were fed a diet that included milk did better than animals that were fed a diet of exclusively things like bread that was made with alcohol or water. In 1912, the term vitamine, and yeah, that's vitamin with an E at the end, was coined. And the search was on to identify all these elements and synthesize them so that everyone could have access to good nutrition. So what even is a vitamin? A vitamin is an organic molecule, or a set of molecules, closely related chemically, that is an essential micronutrient which an organism needs in small quantities for the proper functioning of its metabolism. These essential nutrients cannot be synthesized within the organism, either at all or not in sufficient quantities, and it therefore must be obtained through diet. Many of the vitamins that we now see on the shelves lining our grocery store or drugstores, vitamins like B, A, C, niacin, folic acid, etc., were discovered in the early 1900s, particularly in the period of the 1910s. However, they weren't synthesized or made available on their own until the 1930s and 1940s, which means that for the world of this ad, actually, food was the only way to get these vitamins. And a couple of the big vitamins that were being discovered at this time were available in milk and dairy products and egg yolks. So this ad is actually not wrong. This 1921 milk ad shows us just how far the science of nutrition has come in the last 101 years. Today, I take for granted that even though this week I'm going to be stressed and busy and my diet is probably going to be garbage, I can pop a multivitamin and make sure that my body has all the tools that it needs to keep on running and functioning pretty well. But in 1921, a lot of folks just didn't have that level of understanding or those things available to them. It was only through years and years and years of tedious scientific research that we have come to the understanding of nutrition and the body that we have today. And that's pretty cool to think about. Thank you so much for joining us for this artifact short from the Birmingham Museum, and we'll see you again soon.